So, involuntary movements are very important in both psychiatry and neurology. And what this is telling us is that the brain basically takes in all this information. Now, before we even had music or beats, we had something called the proto language. And the proto
Mm.
language goes all the way back to caveman. And you've got to remember that our ear that listens to it is really formed from the jawbone of great lizards and dinosaurs. And
And
this
they
connects
didn't
to
know Beyonce back then.
and this and this connects basically to a very old part of our brain, which has a big name called the superior gyrus, temporal gyrus of the brain. And what this does is because it's close to where we feel emotions, when we hear these beats, we actually blink or it registers in our sensory cortex, and this actually produces emotion. Now, there are some
Mm.
very important things about this. This is how we actually developed emotions. This is how our
Wow.
ancestors were able to escape being eaten by larger predators. But more important at the moment, blinking can be part of different neuropsychiatric disorders like tic syndrome or Gilles de la Tourette syndrome. And also in patients with Parkinson's, they have these involuntary movements. So really, part of the bottom line of all of this
Mm.
is that music is important, beats are important, and we can actually use it therapeutically to
Wow.
be able to help patients who have either these tic disorders, Parkinson's disease, or other autonomic or diseases that have involuntary movements.
So, why does distraction break the sync? Because this is another finding in this research. What does it tell us about how the brain prioritizes, sensory input?
Very good question. So, what happens is the part of our brain that is associated with music or listening to beats is in the right cortex, and the others, if you distract us, are actually in the left side of the brain. And so that distraction is enough to cause what's called a dissonance in the way our brain processes information. It basically stops
Mm.
to pay attention to the other signal. And when
No.
it's paying attention to the other signal, we lose beat and we lose time. So distraction
Wow.
happens. But that research is very interesting because although you get distracted, you don't get distracted for long. And there's a really a buzz sentence here, which no one can truly multitask. I know everybody thinks they can, but they
All
can't.
right.
What
I will
happens is the
remember
brain
that
actually
next time tells
stops.
me something is, that they can do two things at once. I'll like, no, 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 no. I have a doctor saying impossible. Dr. Johnson, I'll give them your number. Well, in our next conversation, I will ask you about different music and different reactions. Are there healthier tunes for our brain? But we will keep it for our next conversation. Dr. Johnson, what a pleasure to have you on. Thank you so very much for this. Our body, fascinating, wiser than us, that's for certain. Thank you very much.
Fantastic. That was super.
All right. So before we say
And keep
goodbye,
listening to those
yeah.
good beats.
That's
Listen to those
always
good beats,
the beat
especially in
is
the morning.
inside, inside,
I want to
inside the
say
soul.
one thing if you have five
Yeah.
seconds. The
Real.
best beat in the
Mm.
world is our voice, and training our voices to be able to sound rhythmical is very important. So that wonderful hello, good morning is
Dr.
very,
Johnson,
very
let's be
important.
honest, depends whose voice. Remember the
That's what I
nanny,
said.
right?
That lovely voice. If you have that lovely low voice, and you have the
The
right tone.
baritone. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay, I'll work on my deeper voices to appeal, to be more appealing. Thank you very much, Dr. Johnson, for this. What a fascinating insight again about how our body is always, always wiser than us. Thank you very much for this.